Migrants can face extreme hardships trying to get to the border of our country, many putting their lives on the line. But one of the most difficult challenges once they get into the country is often finding a job. Under federal law, asylum seekers have to wait at least 6 months for a work permit. That's something some Democrats have pushed President Biden to change, as tens of thousands of migrants flood major cities like New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. And even then, migrants still face challenges like language barriers, low pay, and discrimination from employers. NewsNation's Allie Bradley is live in Rutherford, New Jersey tonight, where she spoke with a migrant from Venezuela who went through the process legally and now says he's living the American dream. Hey, Allie.
Yeah, hi, Elizabeth. It really seems like the rules always are changing along the southern border when it comes to immigration. Right now, we're in a post-Title 42 world. 9 months ago, though, when we met Josmar Alvarado, things were very different. Migrants had much bigger opportunities and far less consequence. So tonight, we're taking you on that journey with Josmar, the Venezuelan migrant who came across at the height of this immigration crisis and is taking advantage of that opportunity.
Okay, so we're finished?
In the heart of New Jersey's Rutherford borough, you will find Josmar Alvarado hustling through a trendy Italian restaurant, simply living the American dream.
Thank you.
But Josmar's journey to this point was anything but simple. The 26-year-old left Venezuela and his family back in 2017, a country in which the monthly income does not reach $6, which is far worse than even Haiti and Cuba.
It's insane to think about somebody who has seen so much and been through so much. Always try to find positivity. Usually tears people down. But now with Josmar, he's one heck of a dude.
That's why Josmar made the tough decision to move to Ecuador. There he owned a cell phone accessory company and also drove a truck commercially. He tells us he left Ecuador when the guys involved in organized crime came knocking. It came down to his life or money he didn't have. Josmar chose his life and a dream.
Creo en el sueño americano.
I believe in the American dream. It's a country full of opportunities where you can have a better life, where you have freedom.
Setting out for America last year when he saw on the news that migrants from Venezuela were getting in. He spent 32 days walking through multiple countries.
Colombia, tomando la selva del Darién, cruzando Panamá, cruzando Costa Rica, cruzando Nicaragua.
He says the hardest was Colombia and the dreaded Darien Gap, deemed the most dangerous stretch of land on Earth, as it's controlled by indigenous gangs. Many migrants lose their life during this leg of the journey. We met Josmar back in September on a bus chartered by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, going from Del Rio to Washington, D.C. He ended up in New Jersey, where he moved in with his cousins, and of course did the obligatory trip to New York City.
Aquí está, en Times Square, en el lugar que tanto quisiste conocer. Aquí está, ahí lo.
Pinch me, am I really here? Wake me up, because this is a dream. And my cousin turned to me and said, it's not a dream, you made it. You fulfilled the dream of visiting Times Square.
As per his notice to appear on his own recognizance, Josmar checked in with ICE immigration officers when he arrived, but wasn't given a court date, and he still doesn't have one. He says he will check in with ICE again in October, just after his 1-year mark. Josmar says he's been very lucky every step of the way. One day, a conversation with an Uber driver led him to connect with a nonprofit in New Jersey dedicated to helping Venezuelans like Josmar. There they helped him find his attorney, who worked with him and his employer to get him cleared to work, using the number provided to him through Customs and Border Protection. This, as many Democrats are advocating for work authorization for all migrants as their asylum proceedings play out, something Republicans have opposed. Josmar's cousins got his foot in the door of the restaurant. So now he shows up at Songhi Napoli 4 days a week for an 11-hour shift with a smile on his face. And when it's time to make the 20-minute commute to his apartment, where he pays $650 a month, Josmar hops on a local bus, where he's also made an impression. And with a grateful heart, in a space he finally feels free, Josmar surrenders to sleep, eager to wake up from his dreams, to watch them play out in reality.
Mi meta es llegar a ser un empresario.
My goal is to be a business owner. It's all I want, to be an entrepreneur, to be an investor, and not depend on anyone else, to be my own boss one day.
Okay, so Elizabeth, in just 2 weeks, Josmar is set to take the written examination for his driver's license. Now, he does not have citizenship. He does not have the legal right to vote. However, he has been paying taxes. He even filed a 2022 tax return. Now, it's inevitable. We're going to hear people that say he needed to do this the legal way. And it's important to remind people that 9 months ago, self-surrendering to Border Patrol and seeking asylum, that is a legal process. Right now, we are watching his legal process play out. Elizabeth.
Allie Bradley, quite a story. Thanks for telling us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.